the Andy Snowden radio show. It's the Andy Snowden radio show. It's the Andy Snowden radio show. It's the Andy Snowden radio show.
Good evening, it's
uniting our community on 105 FM, Calon FM.
There you go, that is there's a sucker born every minute, taken from the musical Barnum. Marvellous. Right, so we're going to hear it now from one of the country's leading producers in theatre. Her name is Danielle Tarento, and Danielle is a freelance producer and casting director, forming Tarento Productions back in 2009. She won the Best Producer for the Off West End Awards in 2012. She trained as an actress along with myself at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, darling, and worked in theatre, television and film for 9 years prior to becoming a producer. And in 2004 she co-founded the now world-famous Menier Chocolate Factory Theatre. And some of the great work that she put on there included Sunday in the Park with George and in Breakfast with Johnny Wilkinson, I can't speak, and of course that Barnum. So I was intrigued by this, so I called Danielle up. A friend of mine's been a friend of mine for years, she has, and I wanted to know how somebody goes from being a jobbing actor like everybody else to being one of the leading female British producers. This is what she had to say. Here she is, Danielle Tarento.
I think part of the reason why I stopped was I went straight into telly and did a lot of telly and film and was virtually never on stage. And I became an actor because I love the theatre.
Yeah.
And I think I was doing it for about 9 years, and I think I was on stage 3 times in that. And it wasn't what I signed up for. I had a lovely time on telly. I made some money.
Yeah.
I did some good jobs, but it sort of wasn't feeding my soul.
No.
I was just about to turn 30. I was in a series for Sky. It was Dream Team. So
yeah.
it was all full of models and footballers, and nobody could really act. And I signed up to do 3 episodes, and the storyline was really successful. So they asked me back for the rest of the series, and I did the rest of the series. And it was about 2 episodes, 2 weeks before we finished. I thought, I can't imagine having this conversation with myself when I'm 40. It suddenly seemed ridiculous.
Yeah.
So after that, I stopped. I just called my agent and said, I don't want to do this anymore. With no idea of what I was going to do. Knew that it wasn't that anymore.
So did you have any experience at all with producing before you did it?
None whatsoever. I don't think I ever really even knew what a producer was in those days. All I know is that I'm incredibly organised, very meticulous, very good with numbers. I'm a control freak.
Right. Ideal.
I sort of just fell into it. A friend of mine the director was doing some work, and he was having real trouble with his producer. He said, would you just come in and do some stuff?
Yeah.
And I did that for about 6 months. And at the end of that, I thought, I think that's what producers do. Oh, that's easy. And then the chocolate factory, the Menier came up, and that was really learning on the job. And then the rest is history, really. So I've never been happier.
But you were one of the founder members of the Menier.
Yeah, David and I founded that together. Yeah.
So what is that? So it's called the Menier Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm out of the loop, can't you? What is it? Was it a chocolate factory and now it's a theatre?
It was. Yeah. So Menier is a Swiss chocolate company. And I think they're still making, but they're much smaller now. But they were a big deal back in I can't remember when, late 1800s. And that building was their premises in the UK. Right. And it's a beautiful old, huge building. With you can see where the furnaces were in the basement. There's these big sort of dugouts where they would keep the coal. And, it was a big old deal. Yeah. And the present owner of the building bought it. He owns a lot of buildings in Southwark, a lot. So he just said, what are the 3 things I love best? I love theatre, I love art, and I love food. So he built a theatre, a restaurant, and an art gallery. But then, as often happens in situations like this, he then said, I've got no one to run them. I don't actually know how to run these buildings. So he franchised the restaurant at the beginning, ran the theatre incredibly badly, and got a collective of artists in to run the art gallery. But the theatre wasn't doing any business because they didn't have, you can't just run a theatre. You've got a, artistic program and all that sort of stuff, So yeah, he got us in.
So when you first started in that, I'm presuming you didn't like invest millions of pounds. I mean, was everyone on like a profit share, or how did it work?
Well, no, not really. Well, yes and no. So at the beginning, so basically, we were given the building rent-free for the first year.
Right.
And the only stipulation from the owner was that, because obviously nobody knew how long we were going to stay, whether it was going to work out or anything like that. So his stipulation was that, subject to availability, he could have as many tickets as he wanted to promote the building through it being a working building.
Right.
And we made such a success in the first year, but we also took over the restaurant as well. Because you remember my background was in restaurants. My parents had wine bars when I was a kid, and that's what I always did.
Yeah.
So we were given the restaurant as well, and that turned a profit from week one. So the restaurant would fund the theatre. So we used to joke that, the money would come into the restaurant and go out of the theatre. But no, I mean, we didn't. It wasn't profitable. Back in the day, everyone was on 300 a week from the beginning.
Right.
So that was 2004. We opened. So not bad for what was at that time considered a fringe theatre. And we brought a lot of stuff over from America. But we had a transfer within our first. We had a Western transfer within our first 6 months. So we did all right.
All right. What was the first show you put on?
The very first show we put on was called Americana Absurdum, which was an American off-Broadway show. David knew one of the writers, and we just brought it over.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun, but it did fine. But it was not necessarily where we intended the building to go. We just wanted to start with something strong that was already created and it wasn't going to cost us a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then we did a show called Fully Committed, which is a one-man show, which again had been done a lot in America. We bought, again, very cheap one-man show, and that was the one that transferred into the Oz.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And now, can you put anything on, or is there a big sort of headache before you can put something on?
Oh, it's massive. And I tell you what, it's changed so much in those 14, 15 years. Because when we started, there were very few people doing what we were doing, which was big scale done on a smaller scale. So taking big stuff and sort of, putting it in a smaller space, putting the audience more front and centre,
yeah,
as opposed to these sort of big experiences that you sit back and watch. You look at something like Wicked. It's brilliant. I'm not knocking it. But it comes to you. When I was much more interested in making theatre where you had an audience had to work a bit harder and go, more towards it and be actively involved and use your imagination more and tell more complex stories, I suppose.
Yeah, and I heard you say before that you're quite big on new writing.
Well, I'm quite. It's interesting. I'm quite big on the idea of new writing, but my God, it's risky and it costs so much more money because you're investing in something that you. Why would an audience come and see something when they don't know what it is?
Yeah.
Whereas, do Mac and Mabel and everyone knows exactly what it is and they make the choice whether it's their thing or not.
Yeah.
But I am. New writing has been a reasonably big part of my life, but it's scary. It's much scarier.
Yeah, I bet. So something like the Titanic, for argument's sake, was that a new musical for you?
So it was on Broadway in '97.
Right.
And it was sort of the beginning of the end of the mega musicals. So it was vast. There was 20 plus people in the orchestra. There were over 40 people on stage. Massive sets that moved, and I didn't see it, but having watched archive footage of it, it just seemed to me like you're watching a set, and everything was so big that you couldn't see these sort of little dots on stage.
Yeah.
Moving around. And as Maurice, the composer, said, he said, I didn't write a musical about a boat. I wrote a musical about people.
Yeah.
So we had this idea of stripping it right back. You could never put the Titanic on stage. You could never. People, first of all, no amount of money can recreate it. Second of all, we've all seen the movie. We all know what it looks like.
Yeah.
So by taking away the set completely and just giving a sort of an overview, so our set is just rivets and railings. That's all there is. The audience know. The audience, they get it. And if you've got good enough writing, which this is, the lyric will tell you how to feel and what you're meant to be looking at.
Is it similar to the movie?
Absolutely not. Only in the fact that it hits an iceberg and it sinks.
Right.
The factual but there's no happy ending. Can you imagine? He reaches New York and everyone has a party. No.
Oh, brilliant.
But what the movie did, and interestingly, the movie came out after the musical. So it's most definitely not a version of that. And there's no Celine Dion warbling at the end of it or any of that nonsense.
Right.
But no. So what the movie did was took an outline of a historical event and interposed a fictional story onto it. Our story was absolutely based on fact, but every single character on stage is someone who was on the Titanic. And we follow snippets of various people's stories. So you follow the crew, you follow some people from first class, and people from second class, and people from third class, and you get a sense of what it was like to be on that ship, and you get a sense that it is real. And I think that's what makes it more poignant, is the fact that it's real. So, for instance, without giving too much away, at the very end of the show, we bring in a memorial board with all the names, with the 1,522 names on.
Oh, nice.
You know, just because it's real. It's what happened, and it's not about a blue diamond.
Yeah. So it opened at the Chocolate Factory, did it?
So no, we opened Titanic at Southwark Playhouse, which is a little 220-seat warehouse theatre in Southwark. Just, funnily enough, just around the corner from the Chocolate Factory. And people went nuts for it. And then we went to Toronto with it, took it into a 2,200-seat theatre.
Wow.
Which proves that it works.
Yeah.
We then brought it back to Charing Cross Theatre in 2016. And it was on the back of that we got approached by a tour booker saying, look, I think this would do really well on the road. Are you interested? And we said yes, and here we are.
Because it's a massive tour, isn't it? I was looking at it.
Yeah.
It's proper, like, what you call big boy tour.
Yeah, it is.
It's not messing about, this,
exactly.
is it?
And you know, we wanted to do the good venues. We wanted to do the venues where people respect theatre. You know, we could have done a 40-week tour.
Yeah.
But I think then, you know, you see this a lot with those big, you know, not maybe the massive tours like the Lion Kings and the Wicked and the Les Mis, but sort of musicals like, I don't know, for instance, The Wedding Singer or Addams Family, those sorts of things which go out and they go everywhere. Yeah. They make money in 50% of the building venues, and then they lose it. So we just said, no, let's just go to the venues where we know we can make money. And if we do a second tour on the back of it, because word got out, then so be it. But we wanted to, as you say, we wanted to do the big boys.
Right.
I mean, I think the fact that the show has never been seen professionally outside of London, and in London it's only been seen in smaller venues.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge appetite for it.
I think there's a huge appetite for the story as well.
Yeah, and everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know what you're coming to see, everybody knows it. It means something. We are fascinated by it. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. Well, good luck with the tour. I'll try and pick it up because it's coming to it's going to Liverpool. I know that. Is it the Empire you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Marvellous. I've heard you describe actually people coming to see your show is like introducing them to your baby.
Yeah, it is. The first preview, it's literally like, look what I made. Do you like it? Is it pretty?
Yeah. And don't you dare say no.
Exactly. The unfortunate thing is they really do if they don't.
Yeah. It's been great talking to you, mate.
Oh, and you.
I'll let you crack on, lady. It's been lovely speaking to you.
Nice to talk to you, Andy.
Take care of yourself.
All right, darling. Take care.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Ta-da.
So there you go, that is Danielle Tarento. She is one of the producers of this brand new tour that's about to hit the country starting in April. I will give you all the dates and the deets straight after this from Rick Parfitt.
Uniting our community on 105 FM, Calon FM.
So anyway, the Titanic, the musical, produced there by Danielle. It starts in September in Southampton, is what I'm trying to say, on the 12th of April, and then goes all over the country. Goes to Belfast, Cardiff, Salford, Lowry, Dublin, Sheffield, Lyceum, Glasgow, Birmingham, Edinburgh, Plymouth, Northampton, Nottingham, Blackpool, Bromley, Bradford, as I said before, Liverpool, Empire, and then Hamburg, going over to Hamburg, a little bit of Germany, why not? So there you go, yeah, beautiful. What a great thing. This is the thing I love about my job on the radio. I get to talk to all my old mates from college. That was Danielle. We were in college together. We were at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, don't you know? Oh yes. Oh, now then.
It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show.